That grunt work, it kind of defined me a little bit. Like right now, if I see a deal and it could be tomorrow, Saturday morning, it could be a Sunday afternoon, I'm going to go drive over there and just go peek at it right now,
How you balance returns for investors and having an impact in the community.
If it's 50 million or 100 million, I'm okay with it. As long as we believe in the plan and we can execute on it.
You could do this just totally by yourself. You have a team. Why'd you choose to do that?
It's a lot of work, but it's a lot of value.
How do you know when it's time to exit?
Yeah, that's a good question.
We want to give a special thanks to our presenting sponsor, Greenwood Gerhardt. Starting with my parents, for years, they've helped my family feel at peace by having a team we can trust build our finances for the future. One thing I love about Greenwood Gerhardt is how directly involved the team is in the holistic planning of our finances. We can regularly check in with our advisor and know that they see the full picture of our family, even between generations. I know they're adding immense value to so many lives here in Northwest Arkansas. And to learn more about Greenwood Gerhardt and their suite of services, you can visit their website at greenwoodgerhardt.com or hit the link in the show description. Now, let's dive into the episode.
TJ, thanks for coming on this morning, man.
Hey, no problem. Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
TJ Lefler, Lefler Capital. So there's a lot of different real estate firms, brokerages, property managers, and investment firms, which is probably what you call yourself. What's different about Lefler Capital compared to any other real estate business here in Northwest Arkansas?
Well, my background was I was a real estate agent broker for like 16 years. And, when you're a commercial broker, you can do everything. I'll just back up. Anybody can buy real estate. You don't have to have a degree to buy real estate. And so, the commercial brokers were doing a little bit of everything. They still are, which is totally fine. I just decided, 5 or 6 years ago that I wanted to exclusively buy and sell my own property. Now I raise money for my deals, so I have like investors behind me, but I just wanted to literally get a project and wrap my whole brain and everything around making that project better. And I'm now an owner, not just helping somebody else buy and sell, but it's kind of on my shoulders to get the loan and improve the property and lease it up and eventually one day sell it. So Lefler Capital is really a group of, it's me leading it, but it's a group of us. And then we have investors that we mainly acquire real estate, and usually it's larger, like commercial properties with multiple buildings. And we have kind of something we're going to do to it, make it better, and then eventually sell it.
Yeah. And why? So I think what people understand too is like you could do this just totally by yourself. Like why you're building a team? You have a team.
Yes.
Why'd you choose to do that?
Well, when I first started, I honestly didn't want a team. I was a part of another company, which I'm still a part of, but there were like almost 100 employees, and so I kind of somewhat burnt out of like, I'm just gonna do this on my own. And I quickly realized I can do that for like 1 or 2 projects. Yeah. But my goal in the back of my head has always been to scale. And I want to be me being in this market for so long, I have so many friends and people that I talk to, I'm seeing a lot of activity. And so I want to be able to acquire 20 properties or 10 properties, whatever it was. So I quickly realized I can't do that on my own. And I need to like release like the things I know I can like trust with somebody else. So I'm now building a team to help me with all components that I I feel like I can let go of.
Yeah. Well, I want to talk about more of the future and kind of what's the current is, but let's talk about where you're from, how you grew up, how you got here, all that stuff. So grew up in Searcy.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I grew up in Searcy, graduated high school in 2002.
Yeah.
And then went to school up here in Fayetteville. That was always kind of the dream for me anyway.
Did you work in real estate in high school at all? Or was I
had an internship at First Security Bank, which is a great hometown bank. Okay. And I was a waiter for a while. I did some mowing, just things like that. I mean, I did work, and I kind of had to work for gas money. And so I worked kind of odds and ends jobs. In college, I worked at Lindsay Real Estate. Okay. I interned, and it was kind of kind of a hand-me-down job in my fraternity. You were able, like I guess at a certain level there, they're allowed to get like an assistant. And so I worked for a sweet lady. I don't think she's there anymore, but she was the sales manager for the agents there.
Okay.
And it was a good time to do homework, but also I learned a lot about kind of what they go through, like issues that they deal with, because she was the sales manager. They have a lot of agents. When I left there, I was probably a junior. And through that, my real estate, I made my degree. Also, I got my license in college. I just kind of gravitated towards real estate. But I have always had a dream for sure of going to bigger cities. And honestly, that Lindsay building was really cool in Fayetteville. But at the time when it was getting built, but I just wanted to be part of it. That job was mainly houses. But when I would go to New York City or I'd go to big cities, you look at big buildings that obviously cost a lot of money. But I just always thought, why can't I own that?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I for sure don't have the money to do that, but there's got to be a way for any of us to be a part of that if we want to. So that was always in the back of my head of wanting to do commercial real estate and trying to figure it out. And then in college, after that Lindsay job, Sage Partners was started here, and I was a senior in college, and they had just started that company. I think there were 4 of them total, literally just started, but they hired me on as an intern.
Okay.
Which I did this company. And if you asked me to get an intern year 1, that would have been really hard because you're trying to grow your own business.
Yeah.
But they allowed me to be an intern. And then Tommy Van Zandt, who was one of the founders there, he told me to leave and go do something cool. He was like, you need to go do something fun, because once you get into this, it's really hard to get out, because you're just in these deals that don't happen overnight, take a lot of time. Yeah. And so I didn't want to do that. I've always kind of been like ready to get to that level quicker. And so I just immediately started working right out of college for Sage.
And what was the connection at Sage originally? Was it through Tommy?
So I was a Sigma Chi here in Fayetteville, and I actually was president of the fraternity. I lived in that house for 3.5 years of college.
Okay, yeah.
And when I got done being president, the chapter advisor, I guess he kind of takes the presidents under his wing a little bit. And he was like, "What do you want to do? I'd kind of like to introduce you to a couple people." And he introduced me to Mark Saviors in Little Rock.
Yeah.
He was still like a great mentor. Well, Mark's son, Marshall, was moving here at the time from Dallas. Marshall's a little bit older than me, but so he had been out of school and been working, I think, in Dallas, and he moved back here, and he and I met up, and then Brian, Shaw, and Tommy, they were all kind of starting Sage at the same time that the chapter advisor introduced me, and it just kind of worked out where we all got hooked up.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah. And that's all I've done. I mean, literally since I graduated. I mean, I graduated college in 2006, and that I've only been at Sage until 5 years ago when I started this.
Yeah, talk about. I mean, maybe someone's thinking like, "Oh man, I want to do something, but I'm maybe not ready yet. Is that okay?" Or like, are you glad that you stayed there the full 15 years? And this is not like, I think Sage is a fantastic place. We interviewed Marshall, love Marshall, but more on just a question about your personal journey. Like, hey, do you wish you would have started this earlier, or is it?
It's a good question. I've thought about that. I'm sure you've had some of the same thoughts with your career too. Like I don't regret any time there. Like I love it. I love the people there. It's kind of been my life. I have thought, like, if I started this 10 years ago, where would I be now? Only because when you buy real estate, commercial real estate, you don't buy it in 30 days. Like, I mean, I'm like next week, I think we're buying 3 properties, but I have been working on those properties for 7 months.
Wow.
And so starting that earlier, maybe you would acquire more or something, but I really don't have any regrets. I think I've learned so much through the brokerage world. You don't make a salary. It's all you eat what you kill, or whatever, however that goes. Kill what you eat what you kill, whatever. But the sky's the limit. And so that mentality has helped me tremendously from college, when I graduated college, to now. And so I don't regret any of it. But I do think, and I do talk to a lot of people about making a jump from a salary job to maybe a half salary plus bonus or all commissions or whatever. That jump is hard. Like the jump from a salary to maybe a commission only job is really hard because it's not guaranteed money. But then beyond that, what we're doing here, I mean, we're not making commissions. Like you have to like invest your life into a project for 1 to 3 to 5, 10 years before you sell it. Maybe that big pop is when you sell and you can make money throughout the process. But I would say it's even a bigger jump because you can't go out and make a commission in 6 months. I mean, typically we think about a project 3 to 5 years minimum.
Yeah.
So it's just a bigger jump. But I mean, if you really, I don't know, I just feel like you have one life. And if you're into it, and like I think about this 24/7. I cannot not think about doing real estate or what's going on with our projects. And if I'm wired that way, like I'm going to make this work.
You love it.
I love it. Yeah. And so I'm going to tell people, if you feel that way and you love it, you should do it.
But talk about from a development perspective. I mean, there are plenty of developers, but it also seems like there's not that many developers. The tools that you acquired as a broker, how pivotal. I mean, could you have just started your firm without having some of those tools?
Yeah, I think about that too. Like you can. That's the thing. Like I said about real estate is you don't have to have a degree to do real estate. So anybody as long as you get the money to buy something, you can do it. And that has happened a lot in the past where you think it's a good idea to buy something. And then 5 years later, you're like, wait a minute, I didn't realize all these expenses were coming in or whatever. So in that vein, I am glad I kind of went a little slower because there's not like a huge playbook for this. Like you have to know all of the expenses in a deal. Yeah. And then you have to know if you're buying something that's 20 years old, that roof or that heating and air unit is probably at the end of its life cycle. And if you don't think about that stuff, you buy it thinking you're going to make X, and all of a sudden you have a $50,000 hiccup because you didn't plan on a new heating and air unit. So the tools, like at Sage, I'm basically doing this work for other people, but I'm doing so many more transactions. So I'm seeing the issues that those developers or those owners were dealing with. And I'm taking mental notes. Okay, like don't do that or do this or whatever it is. So yeah, I think that, I mean, being a broker as kind of a stair step, I think was a really good move.
Yeah.
Yeah. To learn from other people.
Yeah. Talk about those first few years of Sage. Those I feel like that was a really unique, kind of exciting time.
Yeah. So Northwest Arkansas, that's 2000, 5, 6, 7, 8. There was on the commercial side, we were commercial brokers, which there really weren't any commercial brokers. I think Colliers was getting an office, but for the most part, it was kind of Walmart Buddy Club. People were building residential looking buildings and putting offices in them because there just wasn't anything. Yeah. And so we came to market, and I'm kind of learning from Tommy and Marshall and Brian of explaining what our role is in the market because there wasn't a role. Yeah. And so we're trying to tell them, hey, we're here. We're representing national credit tenants, which some people didn't even know what that meant. They were just like, it's a tenant. Well, there's a big difference in a Starbucks, Walgreens credit or, my sandwich shop, which I could shut the doors tomorrow, but they can't do that without going bankrupt. Anyway, there's a big learning curve of trying to convince these owners and tell them like you're bringing them value, but then they need to pay you. Yeah. And so, it was more wild westy, I remember for me, I kind of gravitated towards retail, and I picked up Walmart as a client one of my first years because they were doing dark stores. They would leave a store, build a bigger one. Yeah. But these were all little towns in Arkansas. Well, all my college buddies were from little towns in Arkansas. So when I interviewed with them, they were like, we're going to Camden or we're going to Newport or whatever, like small towns. And I kind of knew somebody who knew somebody there, and I could make some connections. And so I got the job. But I had like a book, I literally was this thick, 2 inches thick of A to Z retailers. And my job was to cold call every single one of them. It'll say like, AAA auto, we're in California, we're expanding to Oklahoma, Texas, and Missouri. Well, I'd call them, try to find the real estate rep, and have you considered Northwest Arkansas? And of course, at the time, a lot of people hadn't heard of Arkansas or Northwest Arkansas. And so I got a ton of no's. I mean, it was probably over 1,000, if not 1,500 calls. Yeah. And I'd actually made a handful of friends that I still have today through doing that. And, I'd call them and say, hey, if you're not here, do you want to be here? Can I help you find a spot? Trying to represent them. Or they'd say, no, we don't need any help, but we are looking in Springdale. And I would call one of my owner buddies in Springdale and try to match them up. And so I'm trying to add value. And so that was my first kind of gauntlet into like the national broker world. We had a lot, like Marshall has a lot of office connections. He did then, and he had now I can't remember what the name of the software was, but it felt like MS-DOS or something, like trying to log in all the tenant names that are here. But he and we literally tracked every single office tenant that was here. And then you would try to figure out when their lease would expire. And then you try to go in and, eventually help them through their corporate channels.
Yeah.
A lot of those people aren't here. Their main contact is in Chicago or New York or whatever. Yeah. And you try to help them like, hey, and a lot of times you'd call them and they'd say, well, where's Arkansas? Oh, we do have an office there. Okay, well, yeah, we need 2,000 feet here and there. And so we would try to help them. Yeah. So that was kind of our first, that was my grunt work, I guess. And then the other grunt stuff I would do with those like Walmart buildings is I would have to get up at like 3:30 or 4 in the morning. I rented a car. I would drive to El Dorado. I would go look at a building. I'd have lunch with the mayor if I could, or the chamber. I'd try to drive around, write down what tenants are there. Is TJ Maxx there? Is Dollar Tree there? Who's not there? And sometimes, I literally made deals doing that. Like I made one deal on a 40,000 foot lease in Mountain Home because it wasn't on the internet. It wasn't on LoopNet. It wasn't on CoStar. It was like a 100,000 foot building with 30,000 feet available. So big building. Yeah. All they had was a little 2x2 sign in the front parking lot that said for lease. I would never have known unless I drove over there, called him. He was there. I went and met with him for an hour, went home, and we wrote a deal up, and it worked for the tenant. And so you kind of, I think there's still lessons in that. And I encourage younger brokers to do those same sort of things because you learn so much about when you're on the road, kind of like when you're biking around here. When you're biking or walking versus driving, you notice a lot more real estate. Yeah. I'm driving down there. I'm not going to just look on the internet because the internet's not always right. There's new buildings. And then you realize some of these towns, they actually don't put their properties on the internet. So, which is kind of crazy in a way because that's the easiest way to lease your space, but for whatever reason they don't. So unless you go down there and start meeting with people and figuring out their buddy has a space available, you really don't know. Yeah. So I really like that grunt work. It kind of defined me a little bit. Like I'm always wanting to do that. Like right now, if I see a deal and it could be tomorrow, Saturday morning, it could be a Sunday afternoon. If I hear of something or see something, I'm going to go drive over there and just go peek at it right now, and I feel like that's a strength I've got.
And talk about the importance of that. Like, with like software's pretty good now. You can see the inside layouts. You can Google her. You can see the drive by on Google. You can see a lot. But
I think I don't know. I just heard from a lot of people that I work with and mentor people I value their opinion in different parts of this business. When they talk about how deals happen, I remember Mark talking about a deal that he closed over between Christmas and New Year's. He was like, I think I did it because no one else was willing to do it. Yeah. And you have to be willing to kind of, this is not an 8 to 5 job. This is a 24/7, it can make you or break you. Like if you let it just take over your life, which I try not to, but I do think about it all the time. Yeah. And so I'm just available. Like if I see an opportunity and I think it's there, almost any time I'm going to do something. Like I'm not going to let it ruin my family life, but I'm going to at least look. This is what I enjoy. Like that's like, people have hobbies and I've got hobbies too, like health wise, like running and biking and stuff. But like I really like looking at property. I think a lot of other people do too, but I can act on it. Like now that I know this is like my job. So if I see something on a weekend, I can actually act on it if I want to. Mm-hmm. So I just I guess that's part of it is I enjoy it, but you have to kind of be willing to kind of go whatever comes your way, you kind of have to be able to take it and deal with it. You can't just put it away and deal with it in a month. You can, but you may miss out on the opportunity.
Yeah. Someone else can come in.
Yeah. Yeah.
You kind of mentioned the early years, like how things were shaped there. Maybe as the company was building is and really like your personal journey in it, like building like your business here. And you mentioned a lot of like just making different connections across the state and even like maybe even across the country. Cause I feel like people don't understand maybe as much here locally as like commercial real estate. It's a global, but like really national, regional pull on like some of these national tenants that people are managing and repping. And
yeah, so as I grew in the real estate world, mainly, well, I've always done Arkansas. So I love Northwest Arkansas. I love Central Arkansas. Like I love the state. And I've just, because I'm from here, I've either been in Central Arkansas or up here. So what I took away from the first 10, 15 years of me is I have clients, or now investors or clients at the time, from all over the country, but mainly, you know, we all know Northwest Arkansas had a story about 2008 through 10. It's consistently grown. It's only gotten bigger and bigger. And so every year I would get more and more people either calling and wanting to meet. They're from all these other states and they want to be here. Yeah. So I just kind of was the Northwest Arkansas guy for investors. And one thing I did, which kind of led to what I'm doing now, is instead of kind of being the tenant rep guy,
yeah,
I'm more of the investor rep, put a deal together. So-and-so from California wants to be here. I would meet him, tour him, and then I would like kind of know about a tenant looking, and I would call them and I would say, hey, I think you should buy this building. It's got a vacancy, but I think I got a buddy that could put a tenant in it.
Yeah.
So, and they loved me for that because they are not here and I'm adding all this value, which I later found out I should be doing that. And it's kind of what I'm doing now. It's like, now I'm the one buying the property and putting the tenant in or something. But at the time, I just kind of gravitated towards other people that are doing now what I do. And so I was just helping plate. It's like, to me, it's a puzzle. There's all these different pieces of a puzzle that you're trying to put together. And there's an investor, you got to have money, you got to have the property, you got to have a tenant. You may have to have some like construction number, something like that. And you kind of put all that together and you've got a deal. And I want to be part of that where I'm adding value to somebody that has one piece and needs the other piece.
What are your strengths? Like, what are your supernatural strengths in that, the 5 things you just listed out? And as you build your team, I mean, what are some of the pieces that you're like, man, I need a little help on this?
Yeah, that's a good question. So I've done it all. I don't think I'm good at all of it. I think that's a big lesson. A lot of people can do all of it, but it's really hard to be good at all of it. It's hard to be good at building ground up, also buying, also being the investor guy, also getting a loan. I'm a pretty good connector and I see a lot of opportunity. So I think what I'm focused on now is bringing in more opportunities to our office, because we've got these relationships for 20 years and I feel like I'm easy to deal with. And so we all kind of like, I'll get good calls on like what's going on. And the people that call me, I want them to be incentivized to call me. So like I'm paying them, maybe there's fees or brokerage fees or whatever it is. But I'm realizing I needed help with, the nuts and bolts of like getting something built. Or now, I mean, like some of these buildings we have 20 to 40 tenants in the building. And so you've got to renew leases. You've got to make sure so I could do that a little bit, but then I'm going to slack over here on looking for the next deal. So for me, these deals we're closing next week. I mean, they've been 6-7 months in the making. As soon as they close, I'm already gotten more in the pipeline ready to close next. And so I'm focused on that. I'm focused on like the next opportunities. And then now I'm focused on hiring good people to help with pretty much every other aspect of it.
And talk about, I want to kind of talk about the future, but like learning how to put as you're saying, like puzzle pieces together. Let's get a story from like maybe one of the like Pinnacle Heights or something like that. Or like I had a deal that was like, there was a lot of layers to it as you were kind of early on, one deal that, shaped what you're doing or.
Yeah. There's lots of those stories. Pinnacle Heights is a great one because it's a mixed use apartment complex in Pinnacle, and Mrs. Hunt was our partner, but there's a group out of Oklahoma City that we partnered up with. But that one, it came from Vegas. So,
yeah.
Well, we go to that retail convention every year. And of course, the first couple of years, my wife was like, what are you doing in Vegas? Like, you're not. But
that was the biggest real estate show in the country.
Is. Yeah. And so friend of a friend met a group out of Oklahoma City who was there outside of the convention. They talk about what they do. We talk about what we do. And at that time, it was like the mid 2015, 16 area.
Mhm.
And, we had some land opportunities, and really that my puzzle was putting everybody together. My piece was putting everybody together. They were really good developers. That loan is a HUD loan, which is fixed for like 40 years, but it's really hard to get. It takes a couple years. You have to spend a lot of money up front getting it approved. So they were really good at that part.
Yep.
And Mrs. Hunt had some land, and then Tom Allen was involved too. And we kind of all came together and used the land and the loan and then the project. And it took 5-6 years to get approved and built and open, but that was great. Another one, like we bought the building in Bentonville Plaza about a year ago from now. And that was a Sage deal. And I love Sage, but I also we have 4 or 5 management companies that are not Sage that work with us. And we like all those guys as well, and guys and girls. It's just that this is a good example of them finding a deal that was off market. And I'm able to put together the investors and the money. They're managing it and leasing it. And we kind of did it all together. So when I started, it was just me. There's no way I can do all of the management, all the leasing, and raise the money.
Yeah.
I mean, that building was closer to $40 million. Like it's just a big bear. And so we all came together, and our general partnership group is actually 4 people, and we all have different strengths. We're all like, one guy's doing mainly the build outs. One guy's doing legal work. We've got Sage doing their part. And then I'm managing the investment group. And we have calls every week about it. And like, what'd you do? And we kind of bring it all. And I could take more of the deal, but I would rather spread it out and everybody do what they're good at.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so talk like, give a little, while we're on this deal, let's talk about this deal. But I want to talk about kind of what's led up to that deal though too.
Oh, okay.
But like, so when you saw the office deal, like what was like, oh, hey, I can add some value here. This was like,
yeah, that one, and what we own. So we have between 300 and 350 million of real estate right now that we control for our groups. And we've sold some things, and we continue to buy, but we have everything. We have multifamily, we have apartments, we have office, we have retail centers. We're buying another retail center next week. We've done like 80 townhomes, but it's all in Arkansas. So it's a little weird for me. Like, why did I like that one building? I don't just do one thing. But I do Arkansas. And so I just happen to know when someone calls me or shows me something, it is kind of gut feeling for me in our area up here, because I've only been up here, and our area is getting bigger and bigger and bigger, but it's not that big. So, so generally when somebody calls me and so-and-so building in Rogers, I can kind of look pretty quick, and I'm either off it or I'm on it. And this one, we got the call on this one, and I knew about it. There's a lot of history to it. I knew it was a nice building. I honestly hadn't been in it in years. And we went up there and met with the owners at the time, off market. They were dressed totally like they own a lot of national office towers. It's kind of their deal.
Yeah.
And they're very dressed up. And honestly, I was kind of like this.
Yeah.
And they were struggling with leasing it, but the building, they did a really good job on maintaining the building. And in my head, I just took from that meeting, like, hey, I'm Bentonville. Like I'm wanting to bring my dog to the office. I want to wear a t-shirt. I want to like hang out, not just, so I think a lot of major cities office buildings are struggling, but here there's a lot more work-life balance. So you're biking to work for lunch. Maybe you're going on a bike ride.
Yeah.
So you want to be able to take a shower and get back to work. So I just thought, I saw that building, and we got in my opinion, we got a good deal on it, but it was also half empty.
Yep.
So our goal was, or our job was, you got a great deal, but you've got to figure out how to fill this up. And so my idea, and I don't know, I just came up with the idea of let's bring as many amenities to this building as possible. Like when you're, I was a broker showing office tenant spaces, and you've got like 20 options in Bentonville, and a lot of them are nice, but they're all, I guess in my head, they're all somewhat the same, different location, but like, hey, you got a conference room and an office, and you've got some bathrooms, and it's nice.
It's this close to Walmart.
But for me, I wanted to be able to say, well, hey, at my building, you can play pickleball. You can rent our golf simulator. You got free coffee, beer and wine in the afternoon. You can bring your dog to the office. We've got e-bikes for free. And so I know that there's these national brokers looking around and they have these surveys. They're all kind of similar, but mine has 10 other reasons why you'd want to choose us.
Yeah.
And so that was what kind of came of it. And we just created a good partnership. We have investors, which for the most part are from Arkansas. There's a few out-of-staters, but a lot of them are from the state that believe in it also and believe in what we're doing. And we're a year in. I'd love to take y'all up there. Like we've spent close to $4 million on just upgrading it with cool amenities.
Yeah.
Making it more Bentonville is kind of what we're thinking.
Bloom.
We've renamed it Bloom. Yep. And then the second floor, we have a 6,000 foot amenity area, which has huddle room space, 100-person meeting space, coffee bar. We're going to do beer and wine in the afternoon, like just a little bit.
Yeah.
We built a new bike room indoor and then you can reserve e-bikes if you want. It's got a fitness center. It's got lockers, got showers. The building itself was very, very functional for a vendor. So like underground in that building, there's cages you can rent to store your product.
Okay.
So you don't have to store your product in your office. You can pay a lot less to do that. We have full-size docks whenever you're bringing in product, which a lot of office buildings don't have. So all that was already there, but we just are trying to build amenities
Make it fun.
Yeah, make it fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, because through COVID, there was this huge work from home deal, and it's still there, but a lot of companies are wanting to bring you back. And I think we're helping you tell your employees, yeah, you got to come back, but man, you can hang out here and work in our office. Yeah. You also can lease a little bit less square footage from us because you can take your part of that amenity as well. So you may not need 3 conference rooms because we have 3 over here. You can use one of ours.
Sure.
It's honestly just an idea we had. So we're, I hope it works out.
And so, I mean, not a real estate guy, but like outside looking in, if you're just an outsider, you're like, well, the ledger is really cool. There's some cool.
Yes.
So like when you're putting together that deal and thinking through that has to be one of the things you're thinking about your competition in that area. And so how did you process that?
We processed it by it's being cheaper than that. I mean, the Ledger is an incredible, like world-class building. And it has great amenities as well. We want to be similar. We have different amenities than they have, but we're on the same vein of like not just being stuck on your computer all day. Like you can go work downstairs. You can get like one of our goals, like on the first floor, we're going to have a restaurant on the first floor. It was a former restaurant and we're converting it back into another one, but you may want to go there for a little bit. You may want to go to the second floor for a little bit. So it's similar, but we bought a 25-year-old building. We didn't build ground up. That's a ground up, really, really cool world-class building. And our building is a class A nice office, but it is 25 years old. So we're basically updating it. And our location's a little different. Like a lot of things on that one building were coming into play. 8th Street, the interchange wasn't open when we bought it. And now it's open. There's a direct shot from the interstate to that building. The $60 million park on I and 8th right there, it's basically diagonal from us. That's under construction now. It wasn't when we bought it. And then the campus moved, which that was maybe a concern for some people, but we just know whatever's going to come there, it's going to be something cool. So yeah. So all that stuff's kind of come after we bought, and we like the location, but really I just want when people are officing to want to go to the office. Yeah. I want them to go have fun and be there all day. And then, we heard a lot of comments. We were under contract. Like, what do you not like? We interviewed almost every tenant. The big comment, they wanted some food, but they want to hang out with other tenants too. They want to like get to know each other in the building. So we actually hired a concierge person as well. This is another idea to encourage for her to go meet all the tenants and encourage events. So like, we're going to be able to everybody meet on the second floor, have an event. You can meet other tenants. And we think, and I mean, this has kind of been one of my like deep things is when you introduce people together and you're like the one that does it, you're kind of in the deal. So like you guys are buddies. It's because of me. All of a sudden y'all come up with something to work on. We're all working on it. And like, I think at that office, if there's some meeting things there that happen and they come up with like a new, there's new ideas all the time up here, new idea, new company, whatever it is. I hope we're the reason that happened. Yeah. And then I hope they stay and create a new office in our building because of that too.
So, yeah. And then talk about, I think that is such a quintessential example of what a developer at its best does, right? Like a lot of people think about developers, they're just trying to make money for investors or whatever. You're actually adding value, and you could fill those spots not with a golf simulator, with more office space or something. So just kind of talk about how you balance returns for investors and having an impact in the community.
Really, what we're talking about, the return should come. So, for example, that building, and I'll get off that building, but that building is half empty. So, if my plan works and everybody loves it, and they're going to lease our space, and we should hopefully have a full building. That's the goal. We, another project we're doing in Fayetteville, Midtown, on Poplar and Gregg, where like Fossil Cove is. That one was a bunch of older warehouse buildings, and there was a lot of feed. We didn't know what to do with that one because I saw that as an opportunity to make it a cool retail restaurant destination. But there were a lot of comments in Fayetteville. What's going to happen? Is it all going to be torn down? I wanted to say no, but our intent when we bought that whole thing was just to make that a really cool retail restaurant destination. So we did buy it. We are putting a bunch of money into it. We're redoing every building, but it's to encourage new businesses and restaurants to go there. And so yes, we're going to lose money on the front end, maybe by putting another $1 million into it. But if we end up with 6 restaurants / retail, all those are going to feed off each other. So if you're a retailer that's by yourself over here, or maybe like in a stagnant area, if you come to us, you may pay a little more rent, but you're next to all these other cool people. And so whenever you're going to eat at a certain restaurant, or going to go to Fossil Cove, or you're going to go get whatever the retailer is selling, you're probably going to bounce over also. So the hope is we put money into that. We're going to ask for more rent generally from those buildings than what they were getting, but they're going to feed off each other. So if I'm talking to a tenant, like, yeah, you got to pay a little more rent, but you're next to all these your business should go up. And that we've seen that before in some of our other projects where we like in Little Rock, we have a center in Riverdale that we bought. It's a really big, like 200,000 foot. It was good location, a lot of land, a lot of building, but it was just tired. And so we went in and did new facade, new parking lot, new landscaping. It was also kind of empty. So we've filled it up, and we've done some out parcels and all that. But we did that stuff first. We did that before, a lot of developers. Well, first of all, it's a lot of work. It's a lot of work to buy something and spend a year updating. So if you're a silent investor or developer, it's kind of hard. It's a full-time job. Like, it's to be able to know how much money you're going to spend, not overspend, getting 3 bids on every paint job, or where exactly you're going to put the bikes, or when we're doing the retail stuff, what color are you going to paint this? And all that is just, it's a lot. So that was another reason why I'm doing what I'm doing, because I love doing it, and it's all we do. But we've done that in Riverdale. We're doing it in Fayetteville now. We're doing the work first. Like, things that are like, like in my age, and I'm like really driven right now to make all this stuff happen. A lot of owners have owned property for 20, 30, 40 years. And I would totally get it. I don't want to do this. I just want to let the rents ride out. I would almost rather not charge more rent. I would just rather not fix anything and let it go. I'm pretty much the opposite. Like, I want to put money into a project in an effort to get more rent, but it also shows to drive business sales also. Yeah. Most people want to go to a newer, nicer, trendier place to spend their money. They want to feel safe. They want to know it's a cool new thing, especially up here. Everybody's looking for the next coolest thing. Yeah. So we're kind of the opposite. We want to put more money into it on the front end to show everybody we are willing to do the work. We're going to be a good landlord. We're going to ask for more rent because we're doing it, but you're going to get a lot better product. Yeah. So that's how we operate.
That's awesome. And then talk about being an investment firm. You have investors. If there's so many things to invest in right now, crypto, precious metals, stock markets performed really well over the last 10 years, 5 years, whatever. So when you look at whether it's your returns as a firm or just returns in commercial real estate in this area, like, why? What's the why?
Well, the why, probably for investors, is it's cool. I think over the last 10 years, when we travel, we all go on like family vacations or whatever. I think we've gone from where's Arkansas to, oh my gosh, I'm moving to Bentonville because I want to be there so bad. Like it's completely changed. We're all over the country now. People are looking at our area and wanting to be in Fayetteville or Bentonville. So I think that's a good drive for investors. I'm honestly, it is all I know. So I'm not, you take me to anything else you just said, and I'm going to trust somebody else that knows how to deal with the stock market or something. It's like gambling to me. I just don't understand it. Yeah. But I do understand real estate. I understand that taking a vacant building and making it, and us putting our time and effort into what I just said is adding a lot of value. Mm-hmm. It's a lot of work, but it's a lot of value. Mm-hmm. I know it. I see it. I feel good about it. The loan amount, the price amount doesn't matter to me because I just know that if we do that, if I believe in what we're doing and we're taking that project going from A to B, that we've got a good shot at making it work. It's kind of like, I don't know, like not an educated guess, but like we have a little bit of info before we go into something. Like when I invest in stocks or something, maybe I look at things that I use, like an Apple iPhone. So I'll buy Apple. That's the only reason I do that, because I don't understand it. But when I'm going into real estate and I'm looking at a building up here and you're looking at warehouse, which we have a bunch of those warehouse buildings, there's not very many of them. No. And, our market came from, I compare us to Little Rock a lot. Like Little Rock has more inventory. They were bigger before we were. Mm-hmm. So we have a lot more newer things coming, but a lot of the reason is we didn't have it in the first place. So when you're looking at buying something here, the pricing is higher because the inventory is lower. But I just know when I go into a building, like you've got less inventory, there's a lot of demand. So I can see that stuff and have a little bit of background information that might give me an edge versus investing in Apple stock, where I just I don't know what's going to happen with that company.
How do you know when it's time to exit?
I generally, the way I look at it is we're keeping everything forever. This is kind of my MO, is we're keeping everything forever. I do look, and again, another strength is just being here. You're constantly talking to people, and we're all swapping, we swap information all the time. Like you're swapping information on like what you're seeing in the market, and I'll have something and then I'll think I'll keep it forever. And all of a sudden our multifamily gets really hot. And all of a sudden some component of that I happen to have went from here to 100. And then we look at selling. Otherwise we just keep, and we have, like I don't, we don't, I have some investors, which I don't have like a fund or anything. It's just more like kind of friends and family stuff. And honestly, a lot of deals now are just me and my partner, Bradford. But we just look at, the market, and when something, we tell everybody we're not ever selling. Basically, that's what we do. And then if something kind of changes with the economy, we might jump on it.
And so I want to get to like the company now. We were kind of like leading up in the story, and that was great. Talk about the very end of maybe like leaving Sage, how you knew, hey, because you already kind of buying stuff and realizing like, oh, this is what I want to do full time. This is what really, how'd you know? Like this was,
I think about 10 years ago, I started having friends and investors say either I want to do real estate, but I don't know how, or, hey, why don't we just do this together? Like I was helping people put these pieces of a puzzle together, and they may say, well, why don't we just buy it together or something? So I did that on a few things. One of the first ones was a retail center in Little Rock, and I liked it, saw it, and it was a grocery anchored center. So I wanted to do it. And so I did it with a few people that said they wanted to do real estate, and we kind of partnered up, and I ran it. I ended up doing like parking lots and lighting. I moved tenants around. I put a couple better tenants in that needed to be there, cleaned up the buildings. And then 3 years later, we sold it. and I got a feel for like, hey, this works like
Yeah.
this. And I was doing a lot of it though.
Mhm.
So I realized like, I did that a few more times. And then, we did some like houses also, which taking loans out, that's a big deal. Like,
Yeah.
like if you haven't taken a loan out, like people always want to do, they talk about real estate and they want to do it. But when you actually take a loan out, you sign your name to that loan. Like I took that so seriously. Like I'm not going to default on it. I'm going to pay it. And but I may have to like sell my house and move into it or whatever. But you get through that a couple of times and you realize, and also too, the investor money, like partners money, I feel like it's like, that's paramount on my shoulders. Like they've trusted me with what I told them I believed in. So I've got to make this work. But once you go through that a few times, then your tolerance gets bigger. So you get like like I've encouraged a lot of younger people that want to do this, like buy a duplex, live in half of it, rent the other half, take a loan out. And people that I've talked to that have done it, typically within like 9 months, you've leased both sides and then you go buy another one. And then you're like, okay, I can kind of get this. And it makes you feel better about doing the next deal. So after I did a couple of these commercial deals, I realized it worked. It went well. I believed in myself more. I mean, that was like I think we ended up selling it for like closer to 8 million. That's kind of a big deal.
Yeah.
And that was a lot of loan on your shoulders and money, but it all worked out and we were getting rent. We made good money. And so after I went through that, we did it again. And we've done it a number of times now. And so if it's 50 million or 100 million, I'm okay with it as long as we believe in the plan and we can execute on it. And so I say no to like so many things. I just can't, I do not want to do a bad deal.
Yeah.
But I'm comfortable with the bigger amount because we've gone through the process a number of times and it's worked. And so, anyway, yeah, I mean, I also think you have one life and, if this is something you want to do, like you should go after it and give it a try. And I've told my wife before, like I may fail, I may go bankrupt, I don't know, but I'd rather do this and know that I tried versus always wondering like, should I have done that or something?
Yeah. Talk about the first few months on your own. Did you know, like, was that scary at all? Or was like, hey, I've kind of been doing this for a while. Like I feel pretty good.
When you're a broker and you're starting and you're commercial, I was always told 2 years, which it was 2 years. Like the first few years were really hard. But I had already had this, 16-year background. And so and also it was COVID. So there wasn't a lot going on anyway. You're in your house and you're bored. And I just kind of between me already had been thinking about it. I had done it a number of times. I realized doing these deals, if I'm going to do all this stuff, I'm telling y'all, like control the new facade and tear down a building and build a new one or whatever. It's really hard to do that and then also be a broker to 20 deals. You're trying to help them find their space and you want to have a fiduciary to them. And so I was doing that. I was doing this other thing for me more nights and weekends.
Yeah.
But I really liked it and I realized I can't keep doing all this. Like I got to make a choice. That was around that time. And so COVID happened too. The brokerage world slowed down a little bit and I kind of wanted to do this anyway. And so I just decided 2020-ish to jump out and do it. And I just kind of did it out of my house for a while. I just was still, I had a few deals that we had already done. I didn't have a lot coming in. I actually handed off, 16 years of brokerage deals, which is kind of hard because the goal or the benefit or the positive about like commissions is like, most of your friends at 20, 22 years old are making nice salary jobs and you're making, I owed them money after like 18 months. I didn't make any money, but you go, after you put your time in after 4, 5, 6, 7 years, you get to where you're on a great trajectory and you have repeat business. You're known, people are calling you. You don't want to give that up, but it was something in me. I don't know, just the way I live with like a lot of prayer and my internal feelings of just like, this is the time, like it's going to be okay. So I gave up a ton of like my normal commissions or whatever, or deals in an effort to have the time to focus on buying the next handful of deals.
Yeah.
And I don't think it wasn't as hard for me. I do think if it was, 10 years ago, it would have been a lot harder.
Yeah.
But I just kind of knew it was going to work out. I knew I'd done it a few times. And so I knew it would work out. But I do think having that background as being a broker helped a bunch. Yeah.
Give us, so you talk about Bloom. Give us like one more story about a deal like over the last 5 years, like building the company up, and I want to talk about like kind of what's on the horizon here next.
Yeah. So we own a little bit of everything. We have an opportunity zone office building in North Little Rock, and we've put money into that, and it's going great. I think we're 4 years in on that, but I gravitate towards finding an opportunity, like value in an opportunity. I mean, you can go buy a brand new, whatever, gas station, 20-year lease. You can buy a drugstore. You can buy fast food like a Taco Bell or something. Those are always there. But I gravitate towards buying buildings that I see something I can do with it. So we have apartments we bought over here next to campus, and there were some tennis courts when we were buying them. They were dilapidated. They were not in use, but it was on an acre. So we didn't factor that in the deal. That was essentially, in quotations, free land. And we added 42 units to it. And so those are now market rate, fully leased. They're right on the Greenway.
Yeah.
But that was something where we essentially had free land for that. So I try to find something. I try to find something like that. And I'll say it's so much harder now than it was, back in the early 2010, 12, 15, that area. It was a little bit easier, but like I keep saying, or we all know, it's just Northwest Arkansas is becoming so popular now with people from all over the country for so many reasons, for vacations, for real estate, for jobs, for just quality of life, everything, that it's harder now. You take downtown Bentonville land. We're about to build 8 like single family homes and try that out next to the Momentary. The land prices, you hear it from people that are from Bentonville. I could have bought that for 20 grand. And now that lot is $2 million or something crazy. So it's a lot harder to find what I'm talking about, but I love doing bigger things, having some sort of component to the deal. And we're continuing we're buying 2 more retail centers right now. And one of them we created some outlots on it, and we have relationships with tenants, and we've already got a couple like offers from tenants to go there. And and then I've got, Bradford Gaines. He's my new partner over the last year. He's been here about a year now. He's a ground up guy. And I think what I'm excited about for next year is I've kind of realized I can let go of some of this stuff. I just couldn't do it at first. I just thought I had to maybe I just couldn't trust anybody. I don't know what it was. What's your deal? Like I don't know what it was. It was me and mentally my problem. But I've gotten to a point now where I think I've got my strength down of like seeing where the company needs to go and what we need to be buying and selling. But I realized like the last townhome deal we built was really hard, and this dealing with the cities is hard. It's not necessarily them as much as it's my ignorance or me I'm too busy.
A lot of time. Yeah.
It's a lot. It's a lot of time, a lot of effort. And they, these cities have a lot they're just dealing with a lot. They're dealing with an influx of all of us developers trying to do the next big thing. There's more people moving here. There's not enough money for anything. And so they're getting hit with us trying to do this and this, but all of a sudden now, instead of it taking a week, it's taken 2 months to get something approved or done. And
Bradford's good at it.
He's good at it. Yeah, he's really good at it. So he's doing that. And then we've got a new project manager in here. Like when I was handling, do we put incandescent, like the string light bulbs across this parking lot for fun, or do we redo this parking lot, or get me 3 landscape bids? I've hired a guy in-house to help with that. He's great in handling that. But when we started, we were all doing a little bit of everything. Yeah. So now I think I'm realizing we can like have a little more help in here. I can let go and trust other people, which I'm really like, now that kind of in my age and how me growing up, like I want to do that. Like I want to empower other people to be part of these deals. I love when we can have a deal that works and we go, like our dream is to take this older building or vacant building or whatever and turn it into what we want to turn it into. I think having 10 people involved is great. And I want to do 10 of those, not one of those. So I'm more than willing to share and like hiring people to help us or working with other companies to do it, because there's always going to be another deal for us.
And talk about that. Who, like, so when you say hire the people, like what does Lefler Capital need right now? What's kind of on the horizon?
We, we need, it's still like a work in progress, but like everything we do, we hire out leasing, we hire out property management, we hire out project management. Now that the more properties we accumulate, we have, 40 loans. There's always a loan being renewed or a new one that we need to quote out or whatever. So I think that we could use help on all those fronts. Now, how I pay for that, I'm figuring it out. And I don't want to lose focus of the fact that we have really good outside partnerships, because we do. We have really great outside brokerage partnerships. We have really good outside property management partnerships. We have different ones in Little Rock than we have up here. We have different ones for multifamily than we have for commercial. So I don't really want to lose that, but I do think I got to quit answering for every single, we probably have over 300 tenants. I can't answer for every time a tenant has a light bulb out or they want a little request, but I want to be really responsive to them. So I would rather hire somebody to help answer those questions for me. Or if we are, when you're on a project and you're in the middle of redoing it, it could take 2 years or it could take 1 year. If you have somebody focused on it and working on it, you could have somebody go there every week to make sure everybody is doing what they say they're going to do. But after you get so many properties, you can't go to if I'm doing that only, I can't go do the loans or I can't make the calls for my partners, whatever. So I'm basically, as much as we can kind of hire out to somebody with all of those things, we're going to do.
And so you're closing on 3 deals next week. Kind of what's next year maybe look like, and how far out do you look? Do you look 5 years down the road and miss that?
I'm starting to change. Now that more people are here, I kind of feel like an obligation to care for the company more than when it was just me. So I have thoughts. 20 years out. I think I'll be, unless I just totally goof it up, I think I'll be doing this forever. I don't know that I'll retire, fully ever. So I do look out where I want to be, what I want to be doing, and how to get there. But if these go through, I think we'll buy 9 properties this year. I'm not a big goal guy. Like you have to buy 10. We just are constantly, if it wasn't my hobby, maybe I'd care a little more, but we're doing it all the time. So, if we did, it wouldn't surprise me if we did more next year because of the help. I'm turning down a lot of opportunities because I don't have time to look at them. So I do kind of think we're going to do more next year than we did this year. However, you don't want to buy a bad deal because once you're in this deal, you're not out of it. You're in it. So I think we'll do more next year than this year. I don't know what that'll be. We always have deals that take 6, 7, 9 months, a year to get done. So we have plenty of deals right now that we have under contract that are going to close first, second quarter of next year, unless they get bumped to next Christmas again, like it is right now. So I would just say we're on a growth. My big focus is making sure everybody in here is taken care of, and I take care of our outside relationships like we're supposed to be, because that's where all of our opportunities coming from. And so I think if we're more responsive to the outside partners by hiring people in-house, I think it's just going to lead us to more opportunities. So we're definitely on a trajectory of more deals is better than one deal. We're fine sharing the wealth, sharing everything. As long as we all have a good understanding on the front end. I'm real big on setting expectations up with everybody involved on the front end. And that way, hopefully there's no issues later. But we're after more. We're not interested at this time in getting outside of the area or Arkansas, just because we just haven't had time to breathe. But if there's opportunity here, enough opportunity here for us right now. I don't know, why would I? Like this area, you're always betting on something in real estate, you know? And so we're betting on, you know, Walmart and Tyson and JB Hunt, and we're betting on the university, and those are pretty good bets.
Mm-hmm.
And so, and we know the area. And so why, as long as we have enough to work on here, we're just going to stay here.
So what do you tell someone who's, you know, they're looking at starting something here? Why build a business in Northwest Arkansas?
Well, I mean, there are so many reasons to be here. I think there's a political answer, I guess. Like the employment base here, the general people that are here are really good, highly educated workers. And the cool thing that I always hear is they're so creative. I don't know the stats because that's not really my world, but the number of new companies that are small, creative companies, kind of like us coming up with something cool to work on, happens all the time here. So you coming up with a cool idea, people being creative and driven, that's here. But also when you're here, the work-life balance, which is super important to me, is totally here.
Yeah.
I cannot believe when I go to we go to vacation, and now we hear more and more people saying they've been here, they're coming here, they want to move here, mainly for the work-life balance. So if you're going to pop a new business off somewhere, why wouldn't it be somewhere where everybody they want to be here? They don't have to be here. And how many times have y'all heard people, a lot of mainly vendor people that have come here from somewhere else that didn't want to, like that did not want to be here. They had to put their time in for 2 years.
And then we're rolling.
And they never leave.
Yeah.
They're like, wait a minute, this is, I mean, you almost don't want to tell people about the area because you don't want it to become overwhelmed, but that happens all the time to us. Friends that we have that are not from here, that just, they wouldn't leave. But once they're here, they're supposed to go back and they don't want to go back. And they maybe even left their job to get another job to stay here.
Yeah.
So it's for me and what I do for a living and what matters to me doing the one thing I've only done is I want to have fun, and I want it to be fun for me. Otherwise, I'm going to get burnt out. I'm going to get, who knows? Like, I'm not going to want to do it. I don't know what I'm going to do. I'm going to get lost. Could get depressed. If I'm having fun, we're rolling. And, you know, in real estate, every day is a new day. You never know what call you're going to get. You never know what you're going to find the next opportunity. And it's just a lot of fun.
So in that, talking about like what you enjoy, what keeps you going, but like, how do you define success?
I'm sure there's another, I wish I had like great wisdom answers for like a definition, but for me, I really care about, making sure everybody around me am I serving everybody around me? My kids, my wife, the people I work with, my clients and friends, which a lot of my clients are my friends.
Yeah.
Are we doing good in all those boxes? And then am I doing good with myself? Like, am I taking care of myself? I don't know that I'm ever going to reach a level that I'm okay with. Like, I'm always wanting to go to the next level. I've just never been, if I can just reach X, I'm done. I'm never going to stop. I think this drives me to live longer. And like I said, to have fun. But if I can make sure I'm checking all these boxes, including myself, and I feel good about what I've done for myself, and I feel good about what I've done for others, that's, success for me, at least right now.
That's good.
That's awesome. Well, one of the things we do at the end of every episode is we kind of recap what we learned personally. And then I think, for the people who are listening, whether they're starting a business, own a business, building a business, working in a business, what they're going to learn from you. And every person we've interviewed is different, has different strengths, different gifts. But I think the first thing that really stood out and stood out across like the whole interview is your confidence, and not in like a bad way. I think to do what you do, you have to be optimistic and you have to be confident. Mm-hmm. And, one of the things that really stuck out was how you said you have gut feelings, and that'll bleed into a couple of the other things. But like when you see a property, when you go to the property, when you hear about it, when you look it up, like you have a gut feeling. And that confidence comes from experience. You had 16 years,
Mhm.
15 years of experience before hopping in and doing what you're doing. But there's just a really cool component. If you're building something, like, you got to have some gut feelings. You got to have some convictions if it's going to work long term.
Yeah.
And so I thought that was really cool. And just, even when you talked about transitioning from Sage and starting your company, like, you were confident in it.
Mhm.
And I think there's a part of being cautious, but if you're an entrepreneur, if you're building something, if you're founding something, you have to have confidence. You have to.
Mhm.
And so I think that really stuck out. I think the second thing that really stuck out was the word urgency. I wrote it down. You talked about the weekends. You talked about, the story. Was it Mark or Marshall, but in between Christmas and New Year's,
Yeah.
like, just this word urgency. It doesn't matter if you're in real estate, if you're building, it doesn't matter what you're building. You have to be urgent. You have to do things urgently. If you're an entrepreneur, if you're building something, you should walk fast. You should talk fast. I mean, you should be doing it with urgency, and that's not flippant. It's like, no, if you want to accomplish something, which you've done, you have to do it with urgency. And so it's just cool hearing you hear about a deal, you're going to drive over there. Like,
Yeah.
that's the type of urgency that I think people can learn from, and I can learn from, Cameron can learn from. And I think the last part, and that was the thread through the whole interview, was the word opportunistic.
Mhm.
And I think even just ending it with, like, that's your role in the company now. Like,
Mhm.
your role is looking for opportunities. And I think that's really cool. And that's for your clients. That's for your family. That's for your team who's in this building right now. Like,
Mhm.
you're looking for opportunities. And I think the really cool part is you're also looking for opportunities to enhance Northwest Arkansas, which is where we live. That's what this podcast is about. Like,
Mhm.
we go to Bentonville and we're going to drive past Bloom.
Mhm.
And, like, how cool is that to go eat at that restaurant, knowing
Yeah.
what it was before and getting to experience that now, or what you're talking about on Poplar, or whatever. Like, the things you're doing in the community, like, they're actually making an impact. People are enjoying them.
Mhm.
And so this word opportunistic is, it's cool to learn from. So thank you for teaching us today. I think, anyone who listens to this episode is going to really benefit. And those are some of the things that stand out. So
You bet. No, thank you.
Thanks, man.
Yeah. Appreciate it. Yeah.
Well, how do people learn about Lefler Capital, or just more about what you're doing?
If you have a problem with one of our properties, don't worry about my phone number. I'm just kidding.
No.
No, we have a website, leflercapital.com. We're proud of what we do. We really try to make sure as best we can, which is not, tenant situations can be hard, but we try our best to, like, maintain really good relationships for the future, repeat business.
Mm-hmm.
So we have a website, kind of shows some of our properties. And, if you have an opportunity for us, there's a way on there to send us some sort of opportunity. I am opportunistic to me is fun. And so I think other people feel that way also. So if you have some sort of opportunity, we're on our website there. But I was going to say one more thing, if that's okay. Like, I feel really blessed to only do one thing since college. That's kind of rare. I realize not everybody's that way. But when I'm looking on the weekends and I do it because it's fun. And so, like, if I was encouraging somebody to do whatever they're doing, their business in their own, it doesn't have to be real estate. Like, my wife and I and our family, we have a really good relationship with the work-life balance. They understand if I've got to go look at that on Saturday, but then I'm going to make sure that I, do something with them next, because that's what's extremely important to me. So I do that all the time. And I think it's because I like it so much and it's kind of my hobby, but I really, really value the work life. We don't have an 8 to 5 schedule. So we may, I'm up for taking a trip if you want to, but I may have to work a little bit while I'm there. So we try to, like, balance out. There's a balance component to what we do also. But no, I think the big opportunistic thing is in us because we really like doing it.
Love it.
Anyway, thanks guys.
Thanks,
Thanks,
TJ.
TJ.
Yeah.